Hey there everybody, welcome back to another Stardew How To. And today's how to is going to be how to water your crops. So if you've planted out a nice load of crops, probably not this many at the start of the game, you're going to need to water them because they're not going to grow. So here we are with a nice new morning and a load of crops to water. How do you water your crops? Well, the most obvious way is with your watering can. The first thing to know about your watering can is it's going to take your energy, so you can only do so much, and it's going to run out of water. Surprise, surprise. So, the first thing we're going to do is start watering, and we're just going to click and step and click and step. And that is the basic way that you're going to get your watering done if you want to do it slowly. Okay? If you want to be a little bit more efficient, you can stand in the middle of your crops. You can water the one at your feet, and you can go around and you can just water them all around in a circle. Which means you don't have to keep walking around and working out where you're supposed to be. But of course, that's only going to work for some things. Like the beans we can't stand in the middle of, but we can sort of walk along and do a few at a time without moving. And after just that small amount, we've used a bit of energy, but almost finished the watering can. But it's easy enough to fill up. We can just come along to any sort of water, so your little ponds, a lake, even the sea, if you really want, or if you're on the beach farm, and just click as if you're watering, and that'll fill up your watering can. That's the first thing that you need to know about watering. The next thing is that's not going to do for a big farm, is it? So here we are just with our normal watering can, and it just can water one space at a time. That's all it can do. But what if we had a watering can that could do more? So now we're going to take our first look at upgrading your tools. And I'm going to do a whole video on just upgrading, but also, while we're here, we need to talk about it. So, I have magically now got a copper watering can. We'll talk about how to get that properly in a sec, but you're going to have to pay for it, you're going to need resources, and you're going to have to go and visit your friendly neighbourhood blacksmith. And he'll whisk it away and get that upgraded for you. But why? Why, you say? Well, you see this patch of 3? If I go to water it, but I hold down the button to do the action, it charges it up, and we get 3 crops watered at once. And we're not using quite as much energy, and it holds a bit more water. So, can you guess what happens next? The next upgrade is the steel watering can, and that's going to do exactly the same, but it's going to do 5 crops in a row for you. So hold it down just a little bit longer, you can still do the 3, wait another beat, and you get the 5. And that's that. Now, what's this for? This can't be right, surely. But it is. Here is the gold watering can. That's the next thing that you can upgrade to. And that's going to do this whole square for us in one go. So let it charge it up twice. Ta-da! And that is the gold watering can. Now you might be asking yourself, or me, what's better than a gold watering can? Surely that's the best you can get. This isn't Animal Crossing. We've got the iridium watering can. Give it a little while to charge up, and you've got 18 spaces. Now, you can do this with any of the cans, even the smallest one. If you're holding down that button and you're not in quite the right place, you can move around. This is a great little feature that works mostly flawlessly. Sometimes you just can't get it quite in the right place, but that's real helpful, although you're going to be wasting time. And there you go, all 18 crops watered. Can't get any easier than that, surely. So What if watering large patches isn't enough for you? What if you don't want to water at all? Well, we've got the answer for that as well. In my hands is a sprinkler. Now this is just the first type of sprinkler. You can craft this yourself and it will cover 4 crops like this. Now I always like to put my sprinklers on a little bit of stone because sprinklers pop off if you're hoeing around them, and if you put them on a bit of stone they don't. And that's just one handy thing that I've always done, and it's very handy. It stops them being dislodged when you're doing new crops. So that's the first sprinkler. It's not going to do very much for you. Maybe good to put in the middle of some beans and things like that. Coming up from there, we've got the quality sprinkler. That's going to do all 8 of the squares around it. Now that is much more useful, and we can just pop it down there. Like anything that you're putting down, like I've put down the stone slabs and the things, you're not using the button that you use to use your tools, you're using the other button. So for me, that's the right click. It's a different button on every device, so I don't know them all, but it's the, it's not the action, it's the use and things like that. Now, I'm sure you've got the hang of this, of how this is going, because we've got another one. And yes, that's the iridium sprinkler. That will do all of these squares. So you get a 5x5 that you can put it in the middle of, and it will water 24 tiles or squares. And that happens every morning. So if I put these down now, they're not going to do anything. But if we jump to tomorrow morning, then we'll rush outside and hopefully we'll catch them watering all of the crops. Yeah, we can see the sprinklers going off first thing in the morning. And that's all our crops watered there. Isn't it lovely? And you might think that's it. But I've got some late game spoilers for you. Sprinklers can get better. Here we are. We have got sprinklers with nozzles attached to them now. You're not going to get these for ages, but they're getting a much bigger range on them. And I probably should have marked out, but you're getting all of this around here. They're basically upgrading to a whole new level. This one is now going to do a 7x7. The quality sprinkler is doing a 5x5, and the normal sprinkler is doing the whole of the 3x3. Well, there is another way of watering your crops, and that's rain. And that means you get a day off from watering, whether you've got sprinklers or you're relying on a watering can. There is one other honorary mention after the rain, and it's not really watering, but the lack of watering. This over here, this is rice. Rice shoots can be planted in any field like normal, and you can water them. But if you plant them next to some water like this, they water themselves. And that, along with another much later crop, that's just amazing. Though they're not the best crop, so you're not going to be planting loads of that. Now I think I've told you everything I possibly can about watering crops, but if you've got any more tips, then let me know. Right, I'm just going to put some torches on my sprinklers to add some extra light in my farm, and I will see you in the next video for some more Stardew How To. Bye!